Are you ready to jump into the unknown and explore a world beyond your imagination? A world that tests your luck and is beyond limits. But the question is, are you ready to jump? If it is a yes, then you have jumped into the world of ultimate entertainment.
Welcome to YOLO 247, a place of fun, indulgence, and endless surprises.
From the Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. We have got so many mails, messages from so many of you talking about the endless cycle of violence in Bengal, and especially over the last 3 or 4 days as the violence escalated just before the polling, in fact on the day of the poll, and as of now there are reports that about 45 people have died in the panchayat elections in Bengal, and that is why I'm calling the results of today victory by violence. This is a new strategy of Mamata Banerjee: create chaos, organize violence, sponsor violence, allow violence, and then celebrate victory. We have seen violence after victory too, because we have seen the murder, the gruesome murder, the killing of political workers that happened after the last assembly elections in Bengal. And my own take on this is that this begins to happen when political parties begin to lose their grip, which is exactly what is happening in Bengal. Ladies and gentlemen, fact is that today the TMC is a defeated force. It can say it's won the panchayat elections, but let me do some analysis out here. The fact is, if you look at the results very closely, you will realize why Mamata Banerjee should be really very worried. Here's my analysis. The BJP has strongly emerged as the second largest party. The ISF is making big inroads in the minority dominant regions, which means the Muslim vote is moving away from Mamata Banerjee. The Trinamool is unable to recover from the assembly seat loss in Nandigram and is suffering a similar defeat in the panchayat seats in Nandigram. And that should be really worrying Mamata Banerjee. This is despite all the violence that the Trinamool organized. They have lost their edge in Bhangar, where the ISF is contesting. There was unprecedented violence. The Trinamool is trailing in these areas. Muslim vote is moving away from the Trinamool Congress. Also, it is trailing in 1/3 of the seat, including in 2 predominantly Muslim-dominated regions, which means Muslim vote is strongly moving away from the Trinamool Congress. In fact, they were trailing in 2 predominantly Muslim-majority seats, and the All India MIM has made inroads in 2 panchayat seats in Murshidabad and Malda. And if the results are to be read right, then the TMC, which had managed a victory in most of the seats in 2018, is now witnessing a massive split, with the BJP leading in 4,479 seats, CPM Congress in 2,400 seats. So there is a clear dent. Having said that, a couple of points that we must ask here today, viewers. This victory comes on the back of unacceptable and unprecedented barbarism. Citizens have been beaten to death. Polling agents have been identified. Polling agents have been mutilated. Party workers have been butchered outside polling booths. Even voters have not been spared, but the placard gang is absolutely quiet. One of the people from the placard gang who's joining me on the program tonight is Saira Shah Halim. She had earlier said she was at citizens' rallies earlier to protest against the arrest of Tista Setalvad. There are no protests right now because you see they all have to do business and create some kind of anti-Modi front at the center. So this is just, collateral damage. Ladies and gentlemen, Nasiruddin Shah used to use the hashtag Abki Baar Manav Adhikar. Let's stand up for constitutional values during the 2019 elections. Today, for Nasiruddin Shah, Manav Adhikar does not matter at all. Aparna Sen says, now I will not return my awards this is not enough, only 45 people have died. So she's not writing any letter saying, dear Prime Minister, so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. For her, Jai Shri Ram is a war cry, but 45 people have been killed. Aparna Sen does not have the guts to write a letter saying, dear Chief Minister, please resign. Ladies and gentlemen, these are some facts that these people will have to come to terms with. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, there are people like Waris Pathan who will join me on the debate today. Waris Pathan is part of the Shaheen Bagh brigade. You know, Shaheen Bagh, they called it the epitome of protest. Waris Pathan says, I will create a Mumbai Bagh like a Shaheen Bagh. Today, beyond the point, he will not speak about what has happened in Bengal because it is not convenient to them. Viewers, finally, I feel sorry for some people in the print media who have invested so much emotionally, financially, personally into the Trinamool Congress, into building Mamata Banerjee. Ladies and gentlemen, Mamata Banerjee's image is in tatters. If she were to want to enter national politics after this, the images that we've seen over the last 1 week will be brought back, and they will really haunt her. Ladies and gentlemen, let's debate.
West Bengal polls was marked with large-scale violence not only on polling day but also on counting day. In fact, where we are broadcasting from is considered to be one of the most sensitive areas. Bhangur 1 and Bhangur 2. Large number of seats in this very area have gone uncontested, with opposition parties alleging that the Trinamool Congress's high-handedness has resulted in most candidates not being in a position to even file their nomination. We've also been reporting from other parts of West Bengal, especially in Murshidabad and Cooch Behar, from where once again reports have come in of large-scale violence.
ভাই মুড়মু বোমা পড়ছে লালগোলে
These are the frequent images that we're actually getting from a sensitive area like Bhangur, where you can actually see the West Bengal police, which is aided by the Rapid Action Force right now. And basically what they've been doing is on both ends of this counting center, they've been constantly patrolling. What you see right now is this is the other end of the counting center. We're hearing some explosions that are actually taking place. I'm not very sure if you can hear that. Some explosions that are already taking place in the very area from where we are reporting right now.
This is the very area where yesterday the state police official and the bomb disposal squad found 35 crude bombs. Right now this area is very, very sensitive. The clashes, the violence was seen in this area on Saturday, where the booths were captured, and as you can see, the CRPF and paramilitary forces are using the sticks and asking everyone to vacate this very area.
We are right now inside one of the party office of the Trinamool Congress, and take a look at this. Now here you have inside in Bhangur, this party office has been completely vandalized. You have the television set. Take a look at the impact of it. You've had both sides clashing, the ISF and the Trinamool Congress. Not just one political party, be it the Bharatiya Janata Party, all the party offices, the party workers have come under attack. And what we have seen is from the time that the polls were actually announced, over 40 people have already died.
जिस भूमि से कभी वंदे मातरम के शब्द उपजे थे, आज बड़े दुख के साथ कहना पड़ रहा है कि आज उसी भूमि में थैंक्स टू TMC जिस प्रकार की हिंसा हो रही है वो अपने आप में अप्रत्याशित है। इससे पहले कभी इस प्रकार की हिंसा न हमने कभी देखा था, न किसी चुनाव में सुना था।
Trinamool Congress has no position to claim to be the moral winner of this election. The minorities of Bengal, the Adivasis, most importantly, the people from the downtrodden society, they have not been able to trust Trinamool Congress, and the reflection is there in Murshidabad, Malda, Bhangur, Nandigram. The point here is whether Trinamool Congress has been able to get the people's mandate without a bloodshed. The question is there before the 2024 elections.
And keeping all of Bengal and all of the country at the forefront, the largest and most popular news organization in Bengal today, which is Republic Bangla, ladies and gentlemen, had record viewership because it speaks the truth. It is the voice of the people. It is Manusher Kanthashwar, and the Trinamool Congress does not like Republic Bangla because it is scared of the voice of the people. I would like to get Mayuk, very, very popular news anchor and reporter, and Kishaloi, very, very popular journalist of Republic Bangla, to first tell us what astonished us all, Mayuk and Kishaloi. To you first, was that the violence continued even today, and it is continuing as we speak, Mayuk.
Absolutely, Arnab, and we have seen madness in Bengal for the last 5 days. Everyone in this country and abroad, friends and people in social media were saying, what is happening in Bengal? A local body election was happening, Arnab. The nomination process, we have seen bloodshed in nomination process. We have seen bloodshed, people dying and people getting injured. 42 people we have lost. We have lost 42 people in this entire process. Today, it's over. The election results are almost there, but still the violence is on. We are seeing sporadic violence in every nook and corner of Bengal, and most importantly, Arnab, this is continuing, and unprecedented resistance is there this time from the BJP, the ISF, the CPIM and Congress. They are also getting involved in clashes. Trinamool versus all the political parties. ISF and CPM has joined hands. ISF, CPM, Congress, they are fighting together, and in some places we have seen BJP and left parties, they have in the ground level, they have fought and they have clashed against the Trinamool Congress.
But you know, Kishaloi, the violence today, and by the way, there's a good point that he's raising out here, despite all the intimidation, ladies and gentlemen, despite all the intimidation, Mayuk, our senior editor, mentioning there, despite all the violence, look at the inroads that have been made into what was seen to be a Trinamool Congress stronghold, Murshidabad, Malda, Bhangar, Nandigram. You can see here minorities are not voting for the Trinamool Congress en masse anymore. The Trinamool Congress is losing major ground. The left is making a bit of a comeback. The ISF is making a comeback, which means they may have scraped through in this, and I'll call it scraped through. I don't call this a victory. The Trinamool Congress should be ashamed for allowing the shadow of violence to this extent that the whole country today is beginning to ask questions over Mamta's model. But Kishaloi, what was the violence today? What is the reason? We just saw some pictures come in right now into our newsroom. What is the reason for the violence on counting day? I don't understand that.
Well, Arnab, today was a day when people thought that they'll be counting. After 2 days of 3 days of violence, today people thought in general that there'll be a situation where counting will be done properly. But we saw massacre and violence today itself, today as well. I'll give you a list of 3 places where bombings happened and explosions happened. And in the first place I'll talk about is, this is in Bonga, North 24 Pargana. The son of the TMC candidate itself got injured when there was a TMC inner clash, faction feud, and there was bombing. After that, there was another bombing, back-to-back explosions, Arnab, and this was in East Midnapur, Moina. One person lost his hand. On the other hand, the latest one that we are getting is from Murshidabad's Bharatpur, where a whole house has collapsed. Also, there was a firing. This was the latest from North Dinajpur, Islampur, where 2 people has been grievously injured. The main motive behind this violence, the opposition is saying, to stop the the counting process wherever TMC saw that they are trailing behind. So they decided to create a violence and an atmosphere of terror where they could stop the counting either, or they could manipulate the counting. That was the reason that the opposition is pointing out. Arnab.
Okay, I'll just come back to you. Mayuk and Kishulai, please stay with me on the debate here right now. Mr. Deb, what is this? Paranoia, nervousness, losing ground, Barrister Kabir Shankar Bose, desperation, sign of the times? What? I mean, obviously it's not worked. Kabir, what would you say? I want you to start the debate. What would you say to Bishwajit Deb about today's results and what has led to it?
Well, it's not the first time, Arnab. We've seen this repeatedly happening in Bengal. It's now like become a norm. And the Chief Minister, I think she takes pleasure in these kind of killings. It's unprecedented. And like you said, even on counting, the violence is still continuing. While we are debating here, the violence is continuing. I know in places like Howrah, people are calling us up that they want legal help. Groups of women have been locked in their homes. They are not being allowed to come out. The men are being told that if you come out, we will rape the women of the home. This is what's happening in Bengal, unabated. There is complete breakdown of law machinery. There's complete breakdown of law and order. And I'm most surprised. This so-called brigade, the intellectual brigade, is completely silent. What happened to those voices that, they were so loud that something needs to be done in Bengal? Where are those voices today? Completely silent. Everyone is just taking this as a joke. Very sad, Arnab.
Absolutely it is. I'll come to that later. But look at the stain, another stain on your reputation, Biswajit Deb. Just look upon it. And you're not going to be able to wash it away. It is the stain of blood. And what is worse today is that you seem to be happy at your performance. I thought Mamata Banerjee should resign, Biswajit Deb. She's the Home Minister. She should have resigned, taking moral responsibility for what is happening under her watch. The DGP should have resigned. The DGP, who says these are sporadic incidents of violence, should have resigned. Is there nothing called moral responsibility, or have you stopped caring? Mr. Deb.
Now, please allow me to speak at least for 2 minutes uninterruptedly. Now, first of all, I would like to say that out of the 63,000 booths, there were only 1% booth where this violence had taken place. And this was combined. This was a result of the combined opposition led by BJP, ISF, Congress and CPIM. We condemn violence in any manner whatsoever. And today, the result, what you are seeing, Mr. Goswami, is a mandate of the people. The opposition has lost all grounds. I am telling you one thing. The BJP has got a very strong hold in North Bengal, Alipurduar, Kuch Bihar. 1 minute, please, let me finish. Alipurduar, Kuch Bihar, they have lost miserably. They have lost in the place, in the constituency of Shantanu Thakur, the Union Minister. You must understand one thing, that the people of Bengal are with Mamata Banerjee, the people of Bengal are with Abhishek Banerjee, and the people of Bengal are with All India Trinamool Congress. In spite of the central forces were there. So what happened? The central forces, in spite of the presence of the central forces, this particular violence carried on. And that was instigated and provoked by the opposition, combined opposition led by BJP. This is more.
Why did you lose Nandigram?
The combined opposition.
Why did Mamata Banerjee lose Nandigram a second time?
Please let me finish.
Why does Mamata Banerjee lose Nandigram a second time? Are you ashamed to admit it?
These are 1 or 2 places.
1 or 2 places. 1 or 2 people.
This is democracy.
1 or 2 places, 1 or 2 people, you've lost ground.
And BJP should admit that they have also lost.
May I please?
Alipurduar, Kuch Bihar, Jalpaiguri, everywhere.
You've lost the election. This is not an election.
One thing, that it is.
This is not an election. People have fled Bengal because of the violence. People have fled into Dhubri. I have with us Kaustubh Bagchi of the Congress who wants to come in. 1 minute. Let me get the leaders from Bengal for a minute. Kaustubh Bagchi.
This is a narrative created by the opposition and the media jointly.
There has been instances. I am leaving aside all these things that happened previously. Today there has been instances where the Trinamool Congress had been defeated. and they had compelled the government authorities, that is the block development officer and the police authorities, to declare them as the victorious candidates. There has been incidents wherein the opposition candidates have won, and the Trinamool Congress candidates, they have engulfed the entire ballot paper. And that is what the entire state of affair is. Arnab, if your camera goes around the state of West Bengal...
They have done what to the ballot papers? 1 second. Kaushik, what did you say, Kaushik? Kaustubh?
Yeah, they have completely engulfed the ballot paper, wherein the opposition parties got their votes.
Engulfed as in what do you mean? They ate the ballot papers?
Yes.
They ate the ballot papers?
In Ashok
They ate one. Is this true? Madhurja Sen Roy, spokesperson of the CPIM. Did they eat the ballot papers?
Yes. See, Arnab, let
this is the reality of Bengal today.
No, 1 minute. 1 minute. Who ate the ballot papers? Who ate the ballot papers?
The Trinamool Congress candidate who was there. They compelled the video to declare them as the victorious candidates, and thereafter, when the video did not agree to their unlawful demand, what they did is they ate the ballot paper. Now, if Arnab, if your camera travels across the length and breadth across the state of West Bengal, not a single village you would find wherein the opposition party workers are being harassed, are being beaten up. Leave aside the opposition party workers.
Wait. Is this the visual? No. Is this the visual that's on the screen? No. Is this the one with this person with the ballot papers in his hand?
No. It was in the counting center. I don't think there's a picture from the counting center. It happened inside the counting center. That was widely reported in media all across the state of West Bengal.
Madhurja Sen Roy, since people across the country need a few details of what really has gone on, you represent the CPM. CPM has done quite well, eaten into quite a few areas of the Trinamool Congress. Can you give us some instances of what has happened? Because it's very easy for Bishwajit Deb to come and say this is all a made-up story, and Shashi Panja to say, oh, it is just one isolated incident which the media is hyping. Can you give us some...
Arnab, I would just conclude. Arnab, hello?
Yes. Let
Madhurja come in.
I can give you some examples. I can give you some examples. In Jangipara block, Furfura Panchayat, where we won the Panchayat by 22 and 7. 7 was on Trinamool Congress. Just before giving the certificate, Trinamool Congress just entered into the counting room, and after that, they totally उन लोगों ने दखल कर लिया और उसके बाद जो हुआ वो जो पंचायत हम लोग 22-7 में जीत रहे थे वो हम 29-0 में हार गए. Incident number 2.
No, they entered the counting center. One minute. Madhurja, you said they entered the counting center.
Yes.
They entered means what?
Yes.
They entered in a group. What was the police doing? What was the police doing?
They entered in a group and encroached. Police was just like some doll. It was no police there at all. Actually, ये जो इलेक्शन हुआ ना, ये जो इलेक्शन हुआ शुरू से हम लोग देख रहे हैं. ये एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पूरे ये तृणमूल कांग्रेस के साथ मिला हुआ है, और ये एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और तृणमूल कांग्रेस दोनों मिलके ये वोट को लूट किए हैं.
बिशुजी देव,
हम जो बोल रहे थे आपको इन शाकवाजोरा, इन
Arnab.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Am I audible?
Yeah,
Swami, I am again repeating.
Yes. In Shakwajhora Gram Panchayat, 2 of our candidates were who owned their seat. After giving the certificate, they went their home, and after that, 2 police officials went their home and said that please give us back the certificates. The counting was wrong. The recounting is needed. What is this? Is this a farce or election? Is this a farce or election?
But one minute, it's a complete farce, no doubt. But Sanju,
can I add something to what Madhurja had said?
1 minute. I just want to ask Sanju here. Sanju, you are protesting after it has all happened. 1. B, central forces deployment has been terrible, scattered, which means you have not really tried to stop this from happening. People are eating ballot papers, entering ballot booths, killing people. 45 people have died. People who won seats have got their ballot papers taken back. You have not taken any action against the DGP of Bengal, Mr. Malviya. He's an IPS officer. The Ministry of Home Affairs can act against him. Mr. Malviya, I think Manoj Malviya is the DGP of Bengal. Yes. He says there's only sporadic violence. Why don't you sack him, dismiss him, or call him back?
Arnab, you've raised some very pertinent points. First and foremost, let me tell you one thing. There is a huge narrative and complete falsehoods at that is being peddled, that it is the State Election Commission and the Central Paramilitary Forces which are in charge of law and order, and not the Mamata Banerjee dispensation, which is completely wrong. Please educate yourselves. From Article 324 to 329, it says the only duty of the Election Commission is to ensure free and fair elections, but the primary responsibility of maintaining law and order rests with the respective state government, in this case Mamata Banerjee. So point number one, by virtue of being the Chief Minister, and more importantly, by virtue of also being the de facto Home Minister, Mamata Banerjee is singularly responsible for the 45 people dead and counting. There is no way on earth that she can shirk her responsibility on this count. Point number two, if you notice, why central paramilitary forces were not present at every booth. Out of the 75,000 odd booths, 62,000 odd booths actually went into polling. The simple reason for that is this, that the State Election Commission and the state government are supposed to aid the central paramilitary forces, in this case the CAPF and the BSF, and tell them these are the sensitive areas, we need you in XYZ. Mamata Banerjee simply said, "Mujhe kuch nahi karna." The state police was a mute spectator. The State Election Commissioner Rajiv Sinha, despite being repeatedly told by the Governor C.V. Ananda Bose that you have to help in the deployment of the central paramilitary forces in sensitive areas, you know what Rajiv Sinha told the Governor C.V. Ananda Bose, and this is documented. He said, "I am very busy, I will respond to you in 72 hours. This is just 48 hours before West Bengal was to go into Panchayat polls on the 8th of July. This is the erratic and irresponsible behavior of the State Election Commission head, who is no doubt appointed by the governor, but at the behest of Mamata Banerjee, and owes his position and allegiance to the Chief Minister, in this case Mamata Banerjee. I want to ask the so-called acolytes of Mamata Banerjee, when on the 4th of July, already 16 to 17 people were butchered, and C.V. Ananda Bose, the governor, asked H.K. Dwivedi, the current Chief Secretary of West Bengal, who also reports to Mamata Banerjee, please give me the law and order report. Why did H.K. Dwivedi refuse to oblige the governor? Is that not a complete undermining of the office of the governor, who's the first citizen of the
state? I just
state?
want to tell you, I think you're being very easy on the state police, Sanju. If I may say so, I repeat, Mr. Malviya should be either sacked or resign as DGP of Bengal. Do you agree with me, Niladri Banerjee? It's a shame that man is a blot on the uniform to be saying sporadic incidents of violence have happened. Do you agree, Kabir? This is...
Absolutely. He should be sacked immediately, not only
No, but he'll be promoted because he's been... But he's not been a mute spectator, Niladri. He's been a willing participant. He's complicit with his inaction, Niladri.
Yeah, Arnab.
If you recall,
Niladri.
What is happening in Bengal? Arnab, what is happening in Bengal? What is happening in Bengal is, it is not just the GGP, but the entire police force is behaving like cadre of the ruling party. And that is why people of Bengal have lost complete faith on the administration and police force. And in some cases, they are taking up arms even against the ruling party. If you look at the figures, out of the 18 deaths during election, 11 was of the ruling party. The situation is so precarious. The only way to save Bengal is to impose Article 355 at least for the time being. But what is most unfortunate, 2 two opposition parties, Congress and CPIM, they are not willing to back this demand for Article 355.
But you know, I tell you, the reported number, Niladri, Moyuk and Kishalai can come in, is about 42, 43, 45. Are the numbers being spoken about, the number of people who have been killed in the violence? But tell me, Moyuk and Kishalai.
Most of them are Muslims.
No, please don't add a Hindu-Muslim angle here. The question here is, please tell me, Moyuk, how many casualties is the State Election Commission willing to acknowledge? The last I heard, the State Election Commission says there have been only 10 poll-related deaths. Am I right? That they are not even willing to acknowledge the number of people who have died.
Very kind is condemnable.
Exactly, Arnab. Exactly, Arnab, and it's like a circus happening. The State Election Commissioner, who is on the first hand, he's not even willing to admit the fact that 44 people have been killed. The State Election Commissioner first said that the death numbers are 10, the casualty numbers are 10, and then when our reporter Bittu today asked him what's the actual figure, whether 40 people have been killed or not. Today, the State Election Commissioner took a U-turn, actually a sharp U-turn, and said that I never said that 40 people are not killed in Bengal. Then who is responsible? Or no, who is accountable? The media
nobody is accountable. That's the point. That's precisely, Moyuk, that is precisely the point.
That's why I say, allow me to make my point.
1 minute, please. That is precisely the point. Bishwajit Deb, who is responsible for the deaths? The Home Minister is not responsible. She is also the Chief Minister, not responsible. Trinamool Congress, not responsible. Your incompetent DGP of Police, not responsible. Your State Election Commissioner, not responsible. Who's responsible? Bishwajit Deb is on the debate with Kosto.
If you don't allow me,
genocide that is taking place. This genocide is completely at the behest of the ruling dispensation and most importantly Mamata Banerjee. She is responsible for this genocide that is taking place.
At the behest of the combined opposition led by BJP. It is at the behest of the combined opposition.
Wait, Sanju,
Mamata Banerjee being the head of the administration in the state of West Bengal is
Bishwajit Deb, let Bishwajit speak. 1 minute. After that, keep the windows on. Bishwajit.
By the media and the opposition.
Media what? What media did you say? 1 minute. Bishwajit Deb, see, you may not have the courage to speak up about the violence of people in Bengal, but don't you dare question the media. Today, if there is anybody who has exposed you, threadbare, it is the media.
Of course.
Yeah, we have exposed you.
It is a
we have exposed you like never before, and we'll continue to expose you.
I am again repeating.
Arnab, may I put a simple question?
No, 1 minute. Can I have the two colleagues from Bangla on, please? Bishwajit Deb, 1 minute.
1%.
Can I 1 minute?
Out of the 63,000.
Arnab, I need to
1 minute. Bishwajit Deb, 1 minute. Kostov, wait a minute. Can I have those windows back? I'm saying one thing to him. Mr. Deb, you are scared today. Mr. Deb,
who has done this?
Mr. Deb,
violence?
Oh my God, this man never stops.
1 minute.
Keeps on and on and on. What's wrong with this guy?
It is BJP. It is Congress.
Mr.
It is not about BJP, it is about TMC which is ruling Bengal. You are incompetent and
Wait a minute, Kosto, wait a minute.
Stop talking rubbish.
I'll just put a 5-second question to him. Just allow me for 5 seconds.
It is what?
Kosto with Bishwajit.
Can I please come in?
Just 5 seconds.
This man from TMC
who has died. There were about 42 people who has died. Now, has the CM even issued a press statement with regard to one of the deaths?
At the provocation
has she said anything that she is sorry or a condolence message for the family? Not for a single death did Mamata Banerjee say that.
What about the Central Forces?
Is not even sorry for a single death out of the 42 that has taken place. What Mr. Bishwajit Deb is shouting all about? The CM is entirely responsible for the genocide that has taken place. It's a genocide, I say.
of the
not a cold-blooded murder of
Congress,
something. It's
CPIM,
completely a planned
BJP,
genocide that has
ISF,
taken place.
all these
And
opposition
completely
parties,
Mamta
they have
Banerjee is
done this
responsible.
just to
Mamta
malign
Banerjee has
All
not
India
even
Trinamool
tweeted a
Congress,
single
just to
tweet
malign
saying that she is
the
sorry for all the
government,
deaths that have
just to
taken place.
malign the State
42
Election
persons have
Commission.
died in the
It's a
state of West
deliberate
Bengal.
plan.
And taking
It's a
the moral
pre-planned move
responsibility,
by
she
the
should have
opposition.
immediately resigned.
And out of that,
she should have immediately
50%
resigned.
is our
The people of the
You
state
have
of
done
West
it.
Bengal have completely lost faith
party,
in the state
along with
administration.
Congress,
People are
along
hitting
with
on the
CPIM,
streets. People
and
are
along with
taking
BJP, they have
violence,
done
arms
this.
in their own
They have
hands,
deliberately
and then
done this.
completely
It's a pre-planned move to malign the state
No,
government,
keep it.
machinery in the
to
state
malign
of
all
West
India
Bengal.
Trinamool
Law and order
Congress.
and machinery in
And
the
the
state of West
people's
Bengal.
mandate
And Mamta
is
Banerjee is completely responsible
favor of
for this
Trinamool
planned
Congress.
genocide that has taken
Trinamool
place.
Congress,
Mamta Banerjee,
because
being
the
the
reason
head
is
of the state
BJP said,
administration, should
opposition
resign,
said,
taking
no
moral
vote to
responsibility
Mamta,
of the
no
entire
vote to
incident that has taken
Mamta.
place.
And our
What Mr.
leader,
Bishwajit Dev is
Abhishek
shouting
Banerjee
about?
has tweeted today,
These people are shameless people.
all vote
These
to
people
Mamta.
are shameless people.
That is what exactly. You are shameless. You are
These people
shameless.
are being paid
Your
for
entire
shouting
opposition
all
is
these
shameless.
things. They have
And they are
completely
responsible
lost their
for
moral
whatever has happened in
responsibility
Bengal.
as a citizen of the state of West Bengal. Seeing such
The
a violence taking
entire
habits all
opposition
across the
is
state of West Bengal,
responsible
this
for whatever
person is
has happened.
shouting.
Mr. Dev, I want to say something to you before 1 minute. Costo, 1 minute. I have Mayuk and Kishalai with me. I want to tell you something. I want to tell you about the future. Yeah, drink some water now. I want to tell you about the future, Mr. Dev. The future is this, and listen to me very carefully. And I'll let my two young colleagues from Republic Bangla tell you. We will expose you more and more.
The future
we
is
will
this.
expose
I'm
you
telling
more and more.
I am
Remember,
telling you
Mr.
what is
Dev,
the
Mr.
future.
Dev, listen
The
to me.
future is this.
Mr. Dev, I heard you this.
2024,
I heard you. I heard you. I heard you.
2024,
I heard
we
you.
will sweep.
I heard
We
you.
will sweep in the
I heard
parliament
you.
election.
I heard you. And I told you. One minute, Mr. Dev. 1 minute. Sanju, 1 minute, please. Mr. Dev,
What, Sanju?
Sanju, I'm speaking to Mr. Dev. Thank you.
I'm in favor of
Mr. Dev, listen to me.
Mr. Dev is speaking.
Mr. Dev, thank you. Can I have the windows appropriately? 1 minute.
And listen to the shouting match.
Take it on record.
Just 1 minute, please. Mr. Dev,
Take it on record.
Mr. Dev, I'm telling you one thing. You are only good at filing false cases against the media. You are good for nothing else. Your police are sycophants of the ruling government, the ruling party. Your DGP seems to be working for the state government. You don't have the guts to take the police on because they work for you. They have become your private army, and listen to me. Listen to me, Mr. Dev. Listen to me. Listen to me, Mr. Dev. Mr. Dev, listen to me. Mr. Dev, listen to me. I'm telling you, why can't you listen to the facts now? Why can't you listen to the facts? You're scared to listen? I told you, Mr. Dev. I told you a long time back that you are so corrupt in Bengal, you are so corrupt that the people who are standing besides Mamta Banerjee will be in jail. Today, the fact is the same people who are standing against with Mamta Banerjee are in jail, and you have disowned them. You have disowned your own leaders. You have disowned your own leaders who are in jail. You are a terrible cocktail of corruption and violence. You are a terrible combination of corruption and violence. That is why outside Bengal you have lost every single election. People don't trust you anymore. You have lost your image. And today you have even lost, you've lost all the minority vote also. See the writing on the wall. You can do anything. You can do anything. You've lost the ground. You've lost ground. You've lost ground, Mr. Dev. Mayuk wants to say something to you. Mayuk and Kishalai can give you a taste of your own medicine better than me. Mayuk, over to you.
Support are with Trinamool Congress.
Mr. Dev, I have just one question from Republic Bangla. Who is responsible? The State Election Commissioner is responsible. The Home Minister of West Bengal is responsible. Mr. Dev, 44 people have been lost, and today could have been a day for mourning, Mr. Dev, because 14 of your own party cadres have been killed, Mr. Dev, and you are rejoicing, Mr. Dev. Is this a time for celebration? We, as Bengalis, are losing 44 people in Bengal, Mr. Dev.
Such violence.
Okay.
But try to see
I have a story.
But who is responsible, Mr. Dev? Everyone is condemning the violence. The media is condemning the violence. The governor is condemning the violence. The state election commissioner is condemning the violence. But who is going to be responsible? Where the buck stops, Mr. Dev? Mr. Dev, where the buck stops? Are you going to stop the buck? Is the chief minister responsible? Is the state election commissioner responsible?
I want to ask one more question, and this question can be answered by Madhujo. Madhujo, tell me, is it true that a CPM person after winning the election came out and said that I am joining the Trinamool Congress? And is it true that the party alleged that the family member of the winning candidate who was from CPM had been kidnapped? The story is doing the rounds. Is there any truth in this story, Madhujo?
Yes. This is not a story, but this is an incident, a true incident, where we have seen in morning that Comrade Geeta Hasda, who were a candidate in Raina in a panchayat, जो पंचायत में ये Trinamool 18 seat out of 18 seat, Trinamool won the 17 seats. After that, after declared the result, we have all of us have seen that she came out and joined the Trinamool Congress. After that, we have revealed that उसकी जो बेटा है वो बेटे को उसको किडनैप करने का धमकी दिया और उसके बाद वो
Is this true, Mr. Dev?
गीता दी ये she was compelled to announce it.
What they have done since last 34 years.
Subrashta, do you think the placard gang is going to come out and talk about what happened in Bengal? Subrashta to Saira. Subrashta.
Arnab, why are you even asking a rhetorical question like this? Have you ever seen any of the placard gang talk any sense in the past, 8-9 years? Ever since 2014, all their outrage has been selective. All the letters that you talked about writing to the Prime Minister, great intellectuals of our time, great artists of our time, none of them are out and they will not be out. For them, it's not only a question of collateral damage. For them, it's also a question of poetic justice in some very weird, twisted way. And what will Saira Shah Halim talk? I don't have any expectations from her. She will give us very calm and quiet smile, appear in front of the camera as if nothing deters her.
Last year from Baliganj, and I was intimidated by the TMC. I came very close to winning the election. Mayuk will be knowing it. That I defeated the BJP, I defeated the Congress. I came very close to winning the Baliganj bypost yesterday, last year from the CPM. The TMC cancelled 7 of my campaigns when the prior police permission was there, and I like to congratulate all the opposition people who fought so valiantly.
You're the same person, Saira. Let me tell you, you're the same person. You went to a citizens' rally from Park Circus to Entally to mark a protest against the arrest of Teesta Setalwat. When are you hitting the streets this time? When is Nasiruddin Shah going to hit the streets?
1 second.
When is Nasiruddin Shah going to hit the streets? Sanju is one. No. You said speak up. Don't be complicit. You are complicit now. You're complicit.
The statement. He's not on Twitter at all. He doesn't use hashtags. I'll be very clear. So if somebody was operating as a fake handle, it was not just tweets that you were reading out.
I am reading out what he has said in the past. Is this the direction in which my country is headed? Had we dreamt of a country where there is no space for dissent? Falana Tikana.
Right now the topic is
this is the topic. The topic is your hypocrisy. The topic is your double standards.
Has shown exemplary courage.
The topic is your hypocrisy and double standards. Sanju is on the debate.
Violence unleashed.
Arnab, can I please?
Sanju.
And the
thank you. Arnab, you will have to allow me to speak uninterrupted because I did not heckle anyone.
State authority you are talking about 45 murders. There are 60 people who have died in this panchayat calls. Not only that, hundreds have got injured in this violence.
Yes. Well, you're looking out. You don't even know what you're talking about. I'm going to Sanju now. Sanju is on the debate.
Sanju.
On the right.
In the poll. I'm sorry to say, so don't twist the thing. Right now, we are discussing Bengal.
Okay, we've heard her. Can I make my point now?
That people are fighting
Yeah,
back.
speak up. Don't be
against the
complicit.
Trinamool misrule
Don't be complicit,
and the
Saira.
complete hooliganism
You are
that
complicit.
is going on in West
You are
Bengal.
complicit in the violence. You are part of the violence.
Can I make a quick point?
You're the violence gang. Yes.
Arnab, forget about what any of the panelists are saying. I think we cannot question the bona fides of the courts. And just as recently as 24 hours back, this is what the Kolkata High Court told the Mamata Banerjee dispensation in a stinging condemnation of law and order having taken a flying leap out of the window in West Bengal. I'm reading ad verbatim what the court said. Why couldn't you control the law and order situation? Do you know our registrar has received over 45 plus emails highlighting the issue of violence. One is blaming the other. What is the point of passing so many orders by us if the state dispensation, read that as Mamata Banerjee, cannot maintain law and order and give basic safety and security to its citizens? This is the Kolkata High Court with no ifs or buts whatsoever, calling out the bluff of Mamata Banerjee. But I want to take up one point which Arnab mentioned right at the start. Where is Rahul Gandhi, who says कि मैं नफरत के बाजार में मोहब्बत की दुकान खोलने आया हूं? I have not seen one tweet from Rahul Gandhi condemning the violence in Bengal. Where is the nanny of Rahul Gandhi, Jairam Ramesh, who has an opinion on everything under the sun? I have not seen a single tweet from him condemning the Bengal violence or condemning Mamata Banerjee's incompetence. Where is Mallikarjun Kharge, the so-called president of the Indian National Congress? There is no tweet from him. Rather than just a generic tweet saying that we are with the people of Bengal, he's not even named Mamata Banerjee. And you know why? Because the opposition is having a meeting on the 17th and 18th of July in Bengaluru for a so-called opposition unity to take on Narendra Modi. My simple point is this: forget the Aparna Sen, the Konkana Sens, the Nasiruddin Shahs of the world. Forget the Romila Thappars of the world. Why is it that so-called leaders from the opposition, including like the likes of say Akhilesh Yadav, who otherwise trolls Yogi Adityanath on everything under the sun, why has the cat got their tongue? आपके मुंह में दही क्यों जम गया है?
I need at least 30
आपके मुंह में दही क्यों जम गया है?
What she has said.
Well, I just want to say one thing to you, Kaustubh, before you start. By the way, let me tell you, Kaustubh Bagchi, for his called Mamata Banerjee a dictator and he was arrested. Subrashta. This is a reality. And let me tell you, Kaustubh, reality is that you are calling Mamata Banerjee a dictator. Your leader does not have the courage to do that. Ask Kishalay. Your leader has maintained a dignified silence on the murder of democracy in Bengal. It's a truth. It's an inconvenient truth.
Arnab, I'll just request some time uninterrupted to contribute. See, there has been statements from Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, the president of All India Congress Committee, saying that the party does not support this kinds of violence. I am a person who has shaved my head and I'm running all across the length and breadth of this city with a sole promise to oust Mamata Banerjee from the state of West Bengal. There's not been a single leader from the BJP who has been raising their voice in such high pitch. Now let me be very straight. Mr. Chidambaram had been in the state of West Bengal defending a case for the Keventers that was supporting the state government. I was the one who said, go back, Mr. Chidambaram. And the All India Congress Committee stood beside me. Now, let me be very free and fair. What I say, Arnab, the BJP, there has been statement from Dilip Ghosh, the national vice president of the BJP, who said that the Trinamool Congress is in a setting with the BJP. There has been statements from the Shubhendu Adhikari, who has said that he is unsatisfied, he is dissatisfied with the deployment of the central forces. In High Court, when this matter was taken up, 2 weeks back, the union government said that they are not going to give more than 200 companies. Now, 4 or 5 days back, they gave another 400 companies. Now, this was a completely connivance and collusion between the state government and the BJP that resulted in this thing.
That does not mean your leader Rahul Gandhi can go scot-free. Rahul Gandhi talks of mohabbat ki dukaan.
Very well.
Where is Rahul Gandhi's condemnation of the violence in very loyal ally of the BJP?
It has been the statement of the Mukul Rai who had said in Bengali, Chahan Trinamool Naal BJP. Meaning thereby, what BJP is, that is Trinamool Congress.
While I appreciate,
hypocrisy personified.
Kaustubh, while I appreciate everything that you are doing, your leader is sitting with Trinamool leaders who are advising him to get married in a opposition, so-called opposition meeting in Patna. That is the level, that is how seriously they take your efforts. Niladri wants to come in. Niladri.
Well, Arnab.
Niladri wants to come in. Kabir wants to say something to you.
You be in a married
Niladri and
party.
Kabir are one side.
Gandhi, Sitaram Yechuri was seen on the same table as Mamata Banerjee. And if you ask the CPIM, they are not ready to back the demand for 355 in Bengal.
We are continuously fighting.
He was seen in the same table as Mamata
BJP
Banerjee.
is spearheading that legal battle, and it's very, very sad to say the placard brigade is just sitting ducks, and they all want an opportunity to come before the media when the time is right. If the time is not right now, when is the time right? Before more lives are lost. That's what the placard brigade is all about. It's all about their own vested interests.
I'm glad you said that, and I hope Saira has heard it. Because for them, ideology, commitment, truth are all collateral damage. That's the way they look at it.
We are calling out both, Arnab. We are calling out both.
No, you are not calling out both.
We are talking about this mindless violence that has been unleashed on the people of Bengal. And I salute the people who fought so valiantly against state terrorism and this whole reign of partisan behavior that has been committed by the state machinery.
Why don't you take a rally out in 7 points?
Saira, are you supporting the demand for imposition of Article 355 in Bengal? Are you supporting or not?
Are you changing the topic? The topic today is West Bengal violence.
No. We are bringing the topic.
Is West Bengal
in the last few minutes of the debate, we are bringing the topic on point.
To Mamata Banerjee. Why you have double
Please don't engage in whataboutery. The topic today is West Bengal violence.
It's not about whataboutery, Saira. It's a simple, plain question of comparison where you guys, every time there is a ruckus from the other end, you guys raise a hue and cry talking about murder of democracy. It's as ghastly as murder of democracy. And today, so many women, so many young activists have been killed, and all your responses are in muted tone. The problem is about the tone. The problem is about the tenor. The problem is not only about the content. Of course, nobody in the sane mind is going to say that violence is justified in a democracy. But it's all about the way in which you do it when the other side of the political spectrum is at fault. The problem is exactly that. The moral responsibility of these so-called activists,
Mr. Kosta Bakshi, if I'm allowed to ask so.
The lobby as the Republic
Kishula is a question for Kaustubh
The problem
Bakshi.
is exactly that.
Well, Mr. Bakshi.
Yeah, go ahead. Go on, Kishula, go on.
Well, Mr. Bakshi, I have a very specific question. On the day of nomination, when the last day of nomination and on the day of election, when our reporters, when our colleagues were on field, they were facing bombs were hurled at them, there were guns pointed at them. Where were the Congress leaders, CPIM leaders, all these opposition parties who have a party at Patna, who had a party at Patna discussing about family matters? Where were the leaders when allegedly the TMC goons were hurling bombs and our colleagues were on field facing them? Where were you, Mr. Bakshi?
Well, let me be very here. If your camera turns a blind eye towards certain events, I am helpless. We were all across the streets. We were maintaining our war room. We were always in close contact. I was there who traveled across the length and breadth of the state of West Bengal during the campaign days and also during the election days. Kindly, if you do not turn a blind eye towards the entire events and if you become pick and choosy, then I can't help. Because I have been a person who has been absolutely vocal against this regime.
Well, Mr. Bakshi, what we saw, is there was a dharna in front of the State Election Commission, but when it was about Bhangor, the war zone, our reporters, our reporters were reporting continuously and their lives were threatened, but hardly any famous leaders of these camps were seen, Arnab. That was on record on our camera.
Sanju wants to say something.
Sanju,
please, 10 seconds, yeah.
Unaware of the election
Sanju, and then
please,
close with Madhu.
Unaware of the election norms. I am now because I, being a resident of Kolkata,
you don't allow these guys to keep quiet.
You can name the leaders.
Keep rambling on and on.
If you give me the chance, I can name the leaders.
May I please come in, Arnab? Arnab, I just have this to say. Imagine now, instead of West Bengal, this had been Uttar Pradesh or Assam. And instead of Mamata Banerjee, this had been a Yogi Adityanath or Himanta Biswa Sarma. Every media news house, every leftist academician, every Rahul Gandhi Darbari would have bayed for the blood of Yogi Adityanath and Himanta Biswa Sarma. I ask you, why these double standards? If Yogi Adityanath is called out when there is an incident, even a stray incident in Uttar Pradesh, why is it that there are no calls for resignation of a thoroughly incompetent Mamata Banerjee?
इलेक्शन कमीशन के सामने जब हम लोग खड़े थे बाएं का लीडर खड़े थे, तब कहां थे बीजेपी लीडर्स? तब कहां थे बीजेपी लीडर्स?
अभिषेक Banerjee said keep
कहां थे बीजेपी लीडर्स तब?
अरे the leader from the BJP who is shouting so much. May I put a question?
He was questioned
when the Singh operation took place.
Kaustav, I have just a couple of thoughts to share with everyone, and I'll share it with all of you on the screen. I will, Madhujo. I just want to tell you, I just want to tell you all. Kaustav, will you give me a minute? Will you give me a minute, Kaustav? Kaustav, will you give me a minute? Will you give me a minute? You know, today we feel bad for the people of Bengal who are trapped because of their political leaders of all hues and ideologies. And any party which compromises on its promise to the people will be decimated by the people. This is the gift of history. In Bengal, people have come together today on the ground because the parties are playing party games to grab power. The fact is, people are scared of the people's determination. The political parties are scared of their determination. Opposition parties with conflicting ideologies are coming together only to defend themselves against the anger of the people. But the anger of the people is growing. It is apparent, and I wish Bishwajit Dev was here. They will hear it louder and louder in months to come. I thank you all for the debate. Ladies and gentlemen, Mamata Banerjee should apologize today for all that she has allowed under her watch in Bengal. This is not victory. It is victory by violence. I'll see you tomorrow at 9. Good night and goodbye.